What's up, everybody? We are live for Jackson Cantwell's announcement. Number one player in the country. He'll be announcing from his high school in Nixa, Missouri here any minute now. We will go live to that when we get a chance. Powered by Anajar and Levine. As always, this is exciting, man. Let's see if Kane's Connection can get it done. See if the staff can get it done here. Pete, hop in. Pete was very good about setting this up the right way, and I completely screwed it up. So half the people are on a dead link right now, but we're back live just in time for the good stuff. And man, we're fired up. This is, I was around when Jeremiah Smith said he was coming and then didn't. I was around when David Stone did the same thing. So these things you just don't know until they make the announcement. So a lot riding on this announcement for Mario, for the staff, for everybody.
Yeah, you've been excited today, man, but that's what happens when it's the number one recruit in the country. So obviously a lot has been building up to this. I'm going to pull up right now a live look at the Nixa auditorium here as we wait for the announcement. As we see here right now, it looks like they're setting this up here. They had some music playing on some copyright music, so I wasn't going to play the audio yet, but once we get this going here, I'll put the audio on.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us here for the announcement, like and subscribe to this show. We are on daily. We've been talking about this one every single day. And like I said, these recruitments are they're like games, man. You just don't know what's going to happen until they step up to the podium and make the announcement. Obviously a lot of momentum for them.
All right, we got some audio going here, D. So they're talking right now. So I'm gonna pull it back up here for a second. We'll be off to the side. You can actually still hear us. We can talk.
Please do those out in the parking lot because that's a lot easier to clean up before a band concert. So we appreciate all that as well. But yeah, so if you guys need anything, media.
May 13th, 2025, a date that will live in the history, not only Nixa, but the history of Jackson Cantwell. Aiden Hopkins, Jackson Cantwell. It is decision day for the number one recruit in the class 2026. Jackson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to get this thing done.
You nervous?
Not really. I feel good. I feel good about where I'm at.
Confident in your decision?
I feel confident. You got to be.
And we're looking forward to it. So you've been in Nixa 3 years, Nixa High School, that is. I mean, you've put a lot of work in. What has gotten you to this point, do you feel like?
Well, I mean, I think it's just continued effort and just like trying to, get better and having a purpose in everything I do. And I think that just the singleness of purpose that I've had trying to get better at football and get better at track, I mean, it's got me a long way. I mean, I think you don't get this far without having some kind of drive. So I think that's kind of what's kept me going.
How's this recruiting journey been for you? I mean, you hear a lot of stories from 5 stars. Is it gone as you expected? Is there stuff that you didn't expect?
I didn't really expect to get this wild as of late. Like, it was pretty calm, all things considered, at first, because I just didn't have a lot of I didn't have a lot of drive to make a decision early on because as a sophomore and a freshman, I was just trying to feel it out. So not a lot was really too stressful then. But like once I got to past my junior year of football season, it kind of the heat turned up a little bit, and it's been tough. It has, but I'm glad I've been through it, and it's changed me for the better. And I think that it's going to culminate really, really well tonight.
Just building on a little bit more. I mean, it can be hard to stay focused while eyes on you. I mean, this is a small town. People might not think so, but Nixa is a small town. Everyone talks. I mean, there's a lot of good talent around Southwest Missouri. How do you feel you've been able to stay focused with all the eyes on you the past couple of years?
Well, I mean, I think the same thing I've always done has been what I've continued to do, and just keep my head down and keep working. I mean, that's just all it is. I mean, in a community like this that's really close and follows athletics and just follows kind of what's going on at the high school a lot in general. I mean, it's tough, but that's something that I've been able to do.
What advice would you give to younger athletes that are just now starting the recruiting process? I mean, it can be hard. It can be stressful. I mean, you've had a great support system with coaches and family and all that. I mean, what advice would you give to younger athletes like you?
I mean, just don't let it consume you, and just know the main reason why you're doing it. Have a why, and go chase that every single day. Have a purpose and know why you're doing something. Otherwise, it'll be tough. And I mean, you want to do it for the right reasons. So I think that's a good thing to do.
Last question I got for you. You got 4 schools in front of you. You got Georgia, Miami, Oregon, and Ohio State. What has each of these football programs done to make it this far in your recruitment?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of things they've done. I mean, there's some schools that poured a lot of time and effort into me over the past year, sometimes 2, I'd say 2, maybe even 2.5 years, depending on which school it is. But I think in general, we're looking at program success. We're looking at offensive line development. We're looking at good relationships with head coach and position coaches there. I mean, this is stuff that like you can't buy this kind of stuff. You can't manufacture this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just substance. Like that's all it is.
Well, thank you for your time and good luck. And I'm excited to see where you go.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Aiden
you, man.
Hopkins. What an interview
No
there.
problem. I got you.
To Nixa High School's ATOS Center. My name is David Kelly, principal of the high school. Today, we are here to celebrate an exceptional student athlete and an important milestone in his journey. To kick off this event, please welcome our Superintendent of Nixa Public Schools, Dr. Gerald Oden.
Thank you. Thank you. Take a second to look around the room. This is one of the things that makes Nixa a special place. It's when we have the community to rally around each other. And I'm looking today and thinking about today, and this is a very special day for not just the high school or Nixa, but our community. As we celebrate Jackson, I think we'd all agree he exemplifies what a student athlete is. He's someone that makes great grades. He's a leader. And then he's a good athlete too, and a good teammate. I would like to say that there's an exceptional group of athletes here at this time, boys and girls, that have elevated our program. And now we're recognized across the state in all sports. But today signifies us being recognized even at a national level when you have the teams that are here recruiting a kid from Nixa, Missouri. And I know this, we're going to support him. And I do wish he'd pull out an Ole Miss hat. I'm not going to lie. But regardless, even if he goes with Georgia or Ohio State or any of the others, we're going to support him all the way and pull for him and cheer for him because he is setting the standard for others to follow. And we're really proud of him and the family too. I know you're proud of him. But I have the privilege at this time just to say once again, we're proud of him. We're excited about today. And I have the privilege of recognizing Coach Perry.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for everybody that came. It's awesome that you all came to support, one of our very own. Today's a big day for Nixa. It's a big day for college football because the greatest offensive lineman in the country is going to commit to play somewhere in the United States of America today. So it's a big day. I would like to say, hats off to Jackson Cantwell because not only has he dominated on the field since he was a ninth grader, he's done things the right way. He's done it in the classroom. He's done it off the field. He's done it, in every way imaginable. He's represented our school, our community, and his family extremely well, and that's a mouthful right there. From the first time I saw him when he was, I guess, in the 7th grade, a long, lanky, tight end, I thought, maybe. And then I met Dad. I don't know if he remembers. I met Dad in the barbecue restaurant. And y'all know how parents are, right? They're like, man, son's big kid, might be something one day. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that a few times, right? But as it turned out, he did turn out to be something and something really special, and he has earned every single bit of this. Sometimes he don't get enough credit because everybody wants to throw in genetics. Everybody wants to throw in parents, that were Olympians. But what Jackson has done is work as hard as anybody in this school district. He's lifted weights, he's ran, he's done extra work, he's done everything in the world to give himself the opportunity to be in this situation that he's in today. So my hat's off to him. Where he chooses to go to school, look, man, when you are the % player in the country, there's not a bad choice on the list, right? I mean, I know they didn't flip a coin, but I could flip a coin and, we will be 100% supportive and all in. And I think this community will rally behind Jackson Cantwell for the rest of his life, just like you've showed up today. So, hats off to his parents because without them, he would not be here today. They have been a huge influence on him and has helped him in every form and fashion. So, he deserves everything he's going to get today. We're super proud of him. I'm going to introduce his O-line coach, the one that has actually made him who he is today.
Yeah, and I included it. Thanks everybody for being here. I'm Coach Medley. It's my privilege to stand here today, both as Jackson's offensive line coach, but also his shot put coach. This unique opportunity means that I get to watch him compete all year. So I see Jackson at least 5 days a week, sometimes 6, 12 months out of the year. And that's been really special for me. And luckily we get another year of it. Today is about recognizing a young man who represents everything we hope for in an offensive lineman. We talk about it in our room all the time, but things we look for are strength, discipline, and relentless effort. All of these characteristics are represented by Jackson and the way that he plays this sport that we all love. He's the kind of player who sets the tone in the weight room, brings intensity to every practice, and leads with actions more than words. But every so often, he does speak, and when he does, people listen. As an offensive lineman, Jackson embodies a role that doesn't always get the spotlight. Most of the time, an offensive lineman is only recognized when they screw up, first by me and then everybody else. The success that we have does go unnoticed sometimes. A successful offense depends on the 5 to 7 guys up front. Ours from last year are all sitting up here, and I'm proud of them too. But nobody really sees them. They kind of go in the dark as far as work is concerned. I tell my players all the time that God made us all so big because we carry the weight of the team on our shoulders, and Jackson is the biggest of us all. Being an offensive lineman requires them to show up early, stay late, and do all the dirty work without any fanfare. It's about protecting others, often at the expense of personal glory. But what makes Jackson different and special isn't just all of that, but it's who he is. Jackson is always looking for ways to grow and continue to get better, not only for himself, but these guys sitting here too. My favorite thing that Jackson does, and it's kind of unique, I've never had it as a coach, is that he shows up on Monday nights. We finish varsity practice, he goes and gets food, sometimes he showers, he at least puts on clean clothes, and then he comes down to the sideline and he appoints himself my assistant O-line coach. He is out there helping the JV guys with anything they need, talking about footwork, giving reminders in between drives about plays. And one of the biggest things, because I'm really bad at it, is he makes sure that everybody gets in and that they all get reps, because that's how we get better. He doesn't have to do that, but he wants to. That's just because that is who he is. It's been a privilege to coach Jackson, and I'm glad that we have another season together and that he is still part of Team Nixa, but he'll always be a part of Team Nixa. Congrats, Jackie. I'm super proud of you and can't wait to see what you do at the next level. Now, you all didn't come here to hear me talk. I'm honored to introduce the man of the hour, Jackson Cantwell.
Thank you guys for coming out. It means a lot for sure. I mean, this isn't going to be too long anymore. I just want to thank, a lot of people I can thank. I'm sure I'm going to forget some, so bear with me. But I want to thank all my coaches that have put effort into me from start to finish. I mean, especially Coach Perry and Coach Medley. I mean, this has been a really important time in my life, and I really thank them for being there for me. I want to thank all my teachers that have spent time with me. I want to thank all my teammates, especially my trench guys, a lot of them right here. Love those guys. I'd like to thank Drew and Kyle for making this process go a lot smoother. I'd like to thank all the Nixa fans, really anybody with Nixa Athletics or a fan of Nixa Athletics. I mean, it means a lot. They show up every Friday. They show up really for everything, and it's meant a lot to this community for sure. And most importantly, I'd like to thank my mom and my dad, because they've been there for me throughout this whole process. They've done a fantastic job. I love them to death. I mean, that's just it means more than you guys could ever know. And I mean, this has been a long time coming for sure. But I think at this time, I'd like to announce that I will be committing to.
Let's go, baby! Let's go!
Let's see, is he keeping it on? He's not throwing the hat. He's a hurricane.
Let's go!
He's a Miami Hurricane.
Let's
Look
go!
at that.
This hat doesn't really fit, but thank you guys.
Woo! Oh, Don't scare me like that, Jackson. Don't scare me like that. Get this guy a half
You thought he was about to do a secret extra half flip. Here we go. Listen, let's see what he's got to say.
Jackson, we just want to follow up and say how proud of you we are of all the things you brought here to Nick's Athletics.
Let him talk at this
We are
point, man.
very
Come
excited
on.
for you. At this time, we will open it up for media to come up front. We'll do a quick press conference up here and let Jackson.
Let the Georgia reporters that showed up there ask the first
we would
question.
like to go ahead and play a video that was made by one of our former graduates, Nate Puryear. So we will go ahead and play that, and then media, you're allowed to come up and do your press conference.
Let me make sure there's no.
In America.
Yeah, get this out. 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 No video. All right, let's go.
Yeah, we're good. We don't need this anymore. It's happened. Number 1 player in the country is committed to Miami. D, hold on. Before we start, D, I gotta say you had this read better than anyone out there. I think. I mean, I think. Listen, Gabby has. I like Miami here. I think we got. Now something weird is going on here. That's your new term because you smelled something going on, and just obviously we'll talk about the impact of this. But what a win for Miami here at the end of the day.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to take any credit because I was not getting the right info, but I could sense it. Here's the thing. So when he first was going to make his decision and sped up his timeline, he was going to pick Miami, pushed it back. Last week, it's been from Miami sources, Georgia, and now. You know, yesterday I sent a text to a source and they said Georgia, and something about it just didn't seem right. And I've never been steered wrong by Miami. If I couldn't say something, I couldn't say it, but never was I told something that was different than the truth. But this, I texted you this morning, like, Pete, this doesn't seem right. Something seems off here. It's like the old Beanie Siegel. You know, I could feel it in the air. My spidey sense was tingling. I had my radars up. So as time went on, you saw why there was, UM was trying to make sure that this was kept as far away from everybody as possible because this is the number 1 overall player in the nation. You saw how tall he is. You saw his dad. The dad looks like, Brock Lesnar. Guy is extremely smart. He talks like JD Vance. You know what I mean? The guy sounds like he's ready to run for president. And then he's the best thrower in the country on top of being the best football player prospect in the country. So elite, 6'7", 300 pounds, tested well, so he's got movement skills, played some basketball, played some tight end, but it is the rare power in his hands as a elite. Just to give you guys some perspective on this kid, we got all 6,600 on live. Like and subscribe to this show. What are you doing? We're on every day. Just for some perspective on this kid, we just had Jalen Rivers, who was outstanding, right? We all agree we love Jalen Rivers. Jalen Rivers won state in the shot put. Jackson Cantwell beat Jalen Rivers' PR when he was in 8th grade. He was better than the state champion of Florida, Jalen Rivers, future NFL lineman, in 8th grade in the shot put. He's already ahead of Vince Wilfork, who's the best shot putter in Miami history through in college. So this is elite hand power. Both his parents are Olympians, obviously, but it's the length, it's the mind, it's the hand power, and the genetics. I've seen him in person. You saw him in this video. He's not that big. He's going to get even heavier and stronger. So this is, I remember Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith told us he was coming. Number 1 player in the country, finished 2nd. Now we got a chance of number 1 player in the country. Get him. And by the way, this is what? May 13th. 2 weeks ago. Number 1 pick of the draft. What colors was he wearing? On that, what did he throw up? Number 1 pick of the draft. Now the number 1 player in the country. Boom. So listen, here's all I got to say about this one. You see this right here? www.canesconnection.com/CIS. Make sure you get that /CIS. Be part of this. Everybody who's part of canesconnection.com, everybody that has that /CIS sign up, and I'm going to see when I do the Zoom next week, you are part of this. You are part of why this happened. You are not just cheering for it from the sidelines. You are in the trenches with Mario, with Cristobal, with Dennis Smith, with everybody. You are in the trenches with them if you are part of Canes Connection. If you're not, jump in the trenches. There's still some battles to fight. Derek Cooper, you name it. Calvin Russell, be part of the solution. Stop talking about it. Be about it. www.canesconnection.com/CIS. No better time than now. Let's make it happen. Be part of this. But just in terms of guys who deserve credit, you start with Mario Cristobal, best recruiter in the country. He's gotten Kevin Thibodeau, top 10 pick. Penei Sewell, top 10 pick. He goes to Miami. He gets Francis Malinois, top 10 pick next year. He gets the number one player in the country at the portal, Cam Ward, who's number one pick in the draft. And now here, the number one player in the country, Cantwell. By the way, there were 2 other top 10 picks, McMillan from Arizona and Kelvin Banks from Texas, who were both committed to Mario when he came to Miami. So this guy can win big-time battles anywhere. I mean, you saw that video, man. Nixa, Missouri is not Miami, right? I just took a nice little walk to relieve some tension before the show down Miami Beach, okay, just to kind of relieve my stress a little bit. I saw the parrots flying, beautiful day here in Miami Beach. It's not Nixa, Missouri. You saw the video. So this is a tough battle to win, especially over a team like Georgia, which is the best program in the country right now. But this is a message to the rest of the country that Miami can go in any city, any part of the country, and win battles. That's what this represents. So shout out to Mario. Shout out to Mirabal, best offensive line coach in the country, much better than Stacey Searles, which Jackson Cantwell's not stupid to the game. This guy had a 33 ACT, I think, when he was a sophomore. So smart guy. He could tell the difference between the 2 O-line coaches. Yeah, it's right.
Happy
My
birthday.
dad.
I didn't know it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm 39.
Well,
tomorrow's my
is it actually 39 or is it, I'm turning 39? Is it one of those?
No, I'm 39 right now. Tomorrow
Okay.
I'm Gundy.
Oh.
Tomorrow I'm a man. I'm 40
Okay.
tomorrow.
All right. Well,
So
great
tomorrow-
great gift right here.
100%. But yeah, Mirabal deserves credit. Obviously, Cristobal.
Whole staff, man. To me, this is an entire staff thing.
Love to Jersey Dan Hajar, right?
Dan Hajar, Justin Rothwell.
Justin Rothwell. I know these are guys that you don't hear about, but they're talking. They're closer in age to Jackson. They're talking to him. They're supplementing the process. So
the other people in the pictures that you see that are wearing the Miami gear that aren't Mirabal and Cristobal, these guys are very important to land the number one player in the country. It is a all hands on deck effort.
100%. By the way, shout out to Dennis Smith. He gets a lot. He's a outward facing guy, so he gets a lot of hate when things go sideways. 2 things I'll tell you about Dennis Smith. When Cam Ward got a call from UM at the 11th hour to flip back to Miami or to flip to Miami and lead the draft, it was Dennis Smith on the line. That's been reported in all the Cam Ward stories leading up to the draft. It was Dennis Smith who made that last call to Cam Ward. Best player we've ever had in our lifetime since Sean Taylor. Number 2, this recruitment, major involvement from all the guys we mentioned and also Dennis Smith. So give Dennis some love because I know he's outward facing. So he gets the arrows when things don't go well. Let's give him the praise when you land a Cam Ward, when you land a Jackson Cantwell. So that needs to be said as well. But shout out to the whole staff. It's awesome, man. This was a huge commit, Pete. I've been talking a lot, so I'll let you talk a little bit.
No, this is because I just talk. I mean, you see how the staff's reacting already online and how excited they are. But there was a feeling that if they could get this done, it was bigger than just landing the player, right? It's a continued signal that this thing is going in the right direction, and you got to build on last year. Double-digit wins. The season did not end the way that you wanted it to, but this is viewed as a one of the pieces to that war chest, so to speak. You have to continue to accumulate guys like this to win at the highest level. And bottom line is you haven't landed a guy like this necessarily at this position in the last couple classes. You got the absolute best you could get this year. And I think I've seen this as the highest rated tackle ever in the composite, correct?
Yep.
So, I mean, look, it'll be an adjustment as it is for any player. Obviously, the level of competition, the speed of the game is going to be a big thing for him. But he has every physical tool in the bag, mentally. Everything I've heard, someone who really has asked a lot of questions about the offenses he would be going into, and has a really good understanding of those offenses from what I know. That has already grasped concepts that players on the team have a hard time understanding. So that part of it should also accelerate his growth and make him a factor very early on.
No question. And this guy knew. He had an interview. So like I said, he was coming here before all this latest stuff happened. So it's not like Miami just came and swooped in with some money and got him. I mean, he was coming here already before this latest buzz with Georgia. So when he got interviewed maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago by the Springfield beat writer who's known him since he was a kid, right? Springfield is the city in Missouri closest to Nixa, where it's basically like Nixa, I think, is a suburb of Springfield. But I know we got some Missouri fans. Lance Roffers lives by there, so maybe someone can correct me. But I'm pretty sure this is the beat writer basically for his area. And he said, he interviewed him, and he said that, he looks at offensive line development. He rattled off all of Miami's prospects. He said, Ines Cooper is going to be a high pick, or day 2 pick. Manao will be a day 1 pick. Markel, he was like going through the whole depth chart. So when you heard that, you knew, this guy's paying attention to these kind of things. And look, he's not stupid to the game in terms of he knows that Georgia did not have as good an offensive line as Miami this year. Okay. And go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. I
No,
don't want to hear it, but I thought of something, listening, we couldn't really talk about it, but I don't know when the interview with Aiden Hopkins, the kid that was interviewing before, was done. But it sounded to me like he was someone who was not very happy that things had leaked from an NIL standpoint. And he understood where certain leaks were coming from, because listen to what he said, D. He said that this was something based on really tangible things. He said this is all, and he was almost upset when he said it. Like not upset, but he was saying it directly. He said this is all about substance and real stuff, right? And I think he was probably a little bit annoyed at some of the assumptions that his decision was going to be based on money after the leak. That this is, again, this is where I say you kind of had the situation read well, because you made that, we talked about it on the show that one day when the report that Miami had the biggest offer coming out. And I think right then nationally it was like, oh, well, Miami's just throwing a bag in him, and if they get him, it's because of that. And I think he kind of, I think that might have backfired. I don't know if it was an intentional leak. We said it was. It seemed like it was at the time. And
it was intentional.
I think that thing backfired. I really did. The way it sounded, to me, it seemed like that was something he wanted to get across. So
yeah, that before I did that video, it was the day after. It was a Miami baseball game. I think it was a midweek against FIU, and I talked to a Miami staffer, and he's like, "Yeah, Georgia is leaking that because they want the narrative to be if he picks Miami, it's because of money. Put pressure on him that way, and that's just not the case. Look, if you're Cantwell, and I don't know what he's going to say, but I bet it's going to sound a little like what I'm saying now, knowing him, is he's going to say, look, of the 3 teams, who had the best offensive line last year? Georgia, Miami, Oregon.
Here, D, I have the video of him reacting.
Yep.
I have the audio too, so. Hold on. They're saying no audio. Let me get it on. Let me get it on with the audio. Hold on. Sorry.
No yeah, well, even picture says 1,000 words with him.
Try. All right, let's try now.
Let's go! Enjoy. Go in. Let's go! Let's go, brother! Come on, man. Let's do this. Thank you, brother, for believing. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your confidence. It's a kick-ass ceremony. I have a ball, man. All you got to do is give a little free time. Enjoy it.
I recognize that.
Yeah.
Gorby has such a distinctive shirt tucked in look. You could tell.
Look at the producer. The producer trying to get on the videos, man. What is that?
Angel, appreciate you being part of the solution. Joining canesconnection.com/CIS. That's what we need. You're part of this now. This is where it's all together now. Bring it in tight. Hold on. Hey, come here. Come here. Got a guest here. So I got my son here. I got Eli Enriquez, all-star center fielder for the Miami Beach Bulldogs, playing the all-star game tomorrow. Or what do they say? On Thursday, playing his all-star game out there at Grapeland. Eli, we just got some news. What do you think happened?
What?
Someone just picked the Canes. Who do you think it is?
Will Cantwell?
Yeah, Cantwell, baby. Yeah, Cantwell commits the Canes. Let's go. Let's go. All right, go back to your mom. He's been asking me every day. Like I get in the car. He's like, "Is Cantwell committing?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know. Do your homework. Take some left-handed swings. We're trying to get you switch hitting." And but he's been asking me, so had to get him in there.
That was awesome from Mario, though, man. Great seeing the emotion there.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I know Mario lives and breathes this stuff. So there it is. Andrew, my boy, only Bulldogs we respect are the Miami Beach variety. Let's go. That's yeah, man, it's a great day. This is just an unbelievable moment for the Canes. Again, thank you. Like I like to say, what Mario has done here, there's things he has not done. We all know what he has not done. He has not won the ACC. He has not gotten us into the playoffs. He has not won a championship. These are all goals that are very bright letters that have not been crossed out or checked. What he has done is make Miami relevant. When you watch college football this year, Miami was a relevant program. When you watch the NFL draft this year, Miami was a relevant program. This recruitment, Miami is a relevant program. So I think that's really, to me, what Mario has done already. He's not done because he's got an ACC, playoffs, national championship, consistent title contender. That's kind of what Miami, those are the goals on the list. But this one, I think, has been met, which is we are relevant. We're not a joke. I mean, for 15 years at least, almost 20, Miami's been a joke. Like, blown out, can play. It didn't have a chance in big games and just was not, respected in these kind of battles and anything. Hat thrown on the floor. Appreciate you, ECAP. We just were not a respected team. We weren't we weren't real, just we're not real. Now we're a real team. Still got goals, but that's, I think, what this all means is that Miami is a relevant program. You don't get the number one player in America in Nixa, Missouri when you're in Miami, Florida, if you're not a relevant program. Pete, pull up some highlights of this guy. So something, a lot of people
definitely
are tuning in, haven't seen him yet. By the way, we got how many people on live? Almost 8,000 or over 8,000.
No, we got over 8,000 now.
Like and subscribe. ECAP, just join Canes Connection. Let's go, boys. Appreciate you. This is being part of the solution. That's what this is all about, man. So appreciate everybody doing it. Look, was Canes Connection the reason that Jackson Cantwell went to Miami? No, I don't believe it was. But would we have gotten Jackson Cantwell without being able to play with the big boys? Zero chance. So that's the real deal. This is not just one boot. It's not just relying on someone else's money and someone else's contribution and someone else's passion. People are involved and doing it themselves. Like in Mario, we trust. Again, appreciate you, man. That's what we need, man. We need people joining in, bringing this thing in tight. Now we're going to go get Derek Cooper. Going to go get Calvin Russell. Got to win the ACC, man. That's what this is all about. So, yeah.
Here,
man,
I have the highlights here. I'm bringing them up, and I'm also our boy Noah just sent us the video. It's gonna be. I think you guys are really gonna like that video. I'm gonna drop it here in a second. He just sent it to me.
Yeah, you go ahead and handle that. I'll deal with this right here. So, here we go. So, not the best competition, but what do you do with that competition? You absolutely drive it. So, listen, there's two things that stand out. You see the frame. Again, this is a skinny guy. I saw him up close. You saw him in that video. This is not a fully grown player when you see his dad, but look at the power in this guy's hands. When he touches guys, it's like the death touch. They move back immediately. So you have a guy with long arms, long frame, good athletic testing, but then the hands. I mean, just look at how powerful this guy's hands are. Obviously, he's got the finish there. But again, just that's what I watch. Watch the first second that his hands touch a player and how far they move. That is what happens when you're the best shot putter in the country, right? So he's going to continue to get bigger and stronger. I believe he already benches 500 pounds with long arms. Here you see some athleticism here as a former tight end, catching the ball, running it in. But it's the fact that as he continues to put on mass, and you saw his dad is massive. As he continues to put on mass, he already has the length, he has the length. He has the power in his hands. He's going to get his technique better because really, this is not Francis Maunoa coming out of IMG. I'm sure he's getting great coaching from our boy Big Kenzie over there in Nixa, Missouri. But this is they don't have the money and the resources to devote to him like Miami's huge staff, like IMG had. Appreciate you.
Look at this, our boy Fire Marine, man. This is love to get these sort of comments. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's a live community. Like I said, 7 million posts and counting. But after today, let's see how much the Jackson Cantwell. So the Jackson Cantwell commitment thread already has about 2,000 views, about 100 posts, and it's no, actually the thread of this live stream has 7,000 posts or 7,000 views, 170 posts, man. So someone's saying, did I smoke a cigarette after the pick, man? No, I'm this is what I'm doing right here, man. I'm just enjoying life. Like I said, some people go outside and smoke cigarettes when they're stressed. I just took a nice little walk down Miami Beach, with some colorful characters, some parrots flying, and just hoping that we get this dude. By the way, one thing about this, which is interesting, this guy likes Miami. So when you're recruiting a guy from Nixa, Missouri, and again, you heard the superintendent, right? This is not
Superintendent, baby.
This is not South Beach. So it's culturally, you wonder, can we get a guy like this over Georgia, over Oregon? And I think the fact that his family, looking live from Cyprus, shout out
Cyprus.
Nick.
I love it.
So the fact that I think that his parents were Olympians, which by the way, I don't know if he said that, both of his parents were Olympians. Because his parents were Olympians, they're a little more worldly, right, than the average family from small town, middle America. So a place like Miami, which to a lot of people be like, whoa, it's Miami. I think them having traveled the world, they're a little more open to it. Obviously, Drew Rosenhaus being his agent, who's based in Miami. But I remember, I'm gonna shout out my boy Felix, who actually is he texted me, this guy's the man, was at practice, and he was standing next to me. Cantwell was on his visit. We're watching the practice, and he told me, he's like, man, I just overheard Cantwell's parents tell Rosenhaus, we got to spend more time down here. They were loving it. And it was like perfect. This was like the best weather in Miami history on his visit, so we got lucky with that. Cause it was February, it was early March, and it was like perfect. I mean, you couldn't have done any better. And his parents were like, man, we got to get an apartment down here. We got to keep
Miami tends to have that effect on people.
It does, man. Hey, ECAT, man, appreciate you. Let's keep building on this. Let's go. The future is bright. That's what it is, man. It's about building. It's about look, we focus on the disappointment of this year. Obviously we gotta, this is a tough season. It's just the way it finished, right? It could not finish any tougher. So if we live in the disappointment of that, it's one thing. But when you take a step back, you say, okay, 5 wins and a roster. It's won 7 wins before Mario, but it was going downhill. 5 wins, 7 wins, and now 10. Build. And this is a classic building block. If you're building up, you build in the trenches. That's how we got our first good offensive line around Francis Mawanoa. Now the second big offensive line we built around Cantwell. Got a comparison to Laramie Tunsil. I don't know if he's athletic as Tunsil as far as the bending. He's definitely more powerful. Who he reminds me of, Pete, is all those offensive linemen that come out of like Iowa, that come out of like northern Iowa, like Spencer Brown there in
Spencer Brown, yeah.
The guy from Penning from North Dakota State who
Trevor
went to
Penning, yeah.
All those
Saints.
first rounders,
right? Yeah,
the Saints, and all those Iowa first rounders that are tall, they're like lean, they're super strong in the weight room. They're
Tristan Wirfs, Alaric Jackson, yeah.
He reminds me of those kind of guys. But the power is unique. Like the power, you cannot compare the power to anybody with what he has from a power standpoint. So
we had a couple questions here about what sort of what would he attract. I think getting the number 1 recruit in the country is always going to attract talent. Thank you, Xavier, for your contributions, and thanks for watching with us here. In terms of what he attracts, this is a big move for momentum, right? I mean, this is you get the number 1 guy. Obviously, it's a big headline, so it's going to help. I don't know who it's going to help with necessarily right now. Obviously, you have Darion Coleman committed at quarterback, and they're a big fan of his talent. But maybe you add some pieces around that in terms of skill positions. I think that's where the attention definitely turns now.
Derek Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper, Tristan Keys, obviously, you're putting a lot of resources now into Cantwell. Let's see how realistic Keys is at this point. But yeah, I think adding an elite receiver to the class, definitely. Calvin Russell, obviously, as a local guy, is an option. But
yeah, appreciate you, Mohammed. Appreciate you, X. So one thing I want to say, by the way, so this is like I wanted to say this, but I didn't want to say this if we didn't get Cantwell because it would sound like I'm just like trying to
Coping.
rationalize. But this is something that is true, and I want to get across. Miami does not just have one 5-star offensive tackle committed, because Joel Irvin, who for some crazy reason is ranked as a 3-star, guys, I've been seeing practice footage from Joel Irvin from different sources, non-Miami sources. This guy is like a 6-star. This guy's unreal. He's 6'7", 330 pounds, very little baby fat, moves great, bends his knees, finishes, good film. You hear him talk. The guy wants to be a meteorologist, super smart, super humble. This guy is elite, elite, elite. So you don't just have the number one player in the country with Cantwell. Joel Irvin, I'm telling you guys now, go watch his film after you watch Cantwell and then go change your shorts. This guy is elite, man, an elite player. So you got 2 elite tackles plus Ben Congdon. Don't sleep on him. Tall, 6'7", kind of built like Cantwell from Ohio, who I believe is a 4-star now, 6th in the state in wrestling, which Ohio is legit in wrestling. And this guy, I think, just started wrestling, and he's tall, so it's hard to move as a heavyweight, but he's able to do it. So, this offensive line class is, and JJ Sparks at center, tough guy, your classic center. So this offensive line class is already going in the right direction, but you needed that sizzle with Cantwell. It's like Robert Kennedy says right here, building that wall of mirror ball with these offensive linemen. And this is a huge one. You still got Cannon Pickett out there. You still got a few other guys out there. But listen, 5 stars are not all created equal in terms of where they're ranked, but also position. Some positions, there's a lot of variability with these 5 stars. One position where 5-star guys are usually 5 stars, I would say it is the offensive tackle position, whether it's J.C. Latham, guys like that. You usually see those guys make it. Marius Mims, Broderick Jones, just some of those Georgia guys that went to Georgia and went first round. Top 10 guys usually make it. We saw with Mawanoa. So this is a position with a very, very low miss rate and a high hit rate, especially to get to like the number 1 overall tackle, which is what Cantwell is.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through Twitter to see if anything else is going on here. Lots of so this is a good one. This is a video when he was finding when Mario was trying to find a spot to watch the stream here. I wonder if he was watching our stream.
Yeah, one of the 8,500. There's Gorby.
Good stuff, man. Thank you to Aslan Hajivandi from War Chant.
Gorby's like me, man. I always have trouble where my waistline is with my belt. My pants are always either too high or too low. Gorby's got the same problem, man. Something with our waist. I feel him on that. Jacoby, man.
I'm sure he's going to love this commentary.
Jacoby, appreciate you. You're always in there showing support. Smash that like button. Appreciate you as always, Jacoby, in there in the trenches. If you guys don't know, we're on every single day with fans like Jacoby, big Canes fans like Jacoby, representing always and being part of the show. This is the community show. So appreciate Jacoby. Appreciate everybody that's here now and everybody that's here all the time, man. It's really good to have that community. But Pete, pull up the Jackson Cantwell thread, the one that after he committed that Sebastian posted, because I want to see what people are saying. It might be explicit, so you got to be careful, because typically when someone commits, there's some there's some colorful GIFs being used. Oh, look at this. Oh, what a quote here, Pete. Jackson Cantwell said he knew it was Miami on the plane ride back from Georgia. Let's go. Let's go. Does it get better than that, man? Does it get better than that? He knew it was Miami on the plane ride back from Georgia.
Where's that? That's in the thread here?
That's one of the comments, like a tweet. Someone tweeted that from his press conference. So they're supposed to be SEC. I guess that aura has dropped a little bit. Guy took, Athens is pretty nice. I can't even hate on Athens, but man, he's on the plane back. Like, what can I get to Coral Gables? Here we go. So this is how it works on Canes. This, you post a big story, Sebastian Font, the man in the future, and then everybody comes with the GIFs and the memes. So let's see here. Got a meme. Booker T celebrating Stephanie Vicker. I know that GIF. Just people going crazy. There's Debo. There's Mario riding the loafer, parking the loafer. There's Rusty Mansell. You do not want to be head-to-head with Miami at the end. That GIF came to fruition. Man, we're already at 7 pages here. So if you want to celebrate This is where it is. Oh, there's Anchorman, pretty aroused by the commitment. This is what it's all about, man. Yeah, someone posted all of his highlights there. I've watched his sophomore highlights. You can see clearly the progression. The guy keeps getting better and better. Oh, go up here. Here, let's read this. Let's read this tweet from Brandon Marcello. I just heard a loud yell from the meeting room here at ACC meetings. I can confirm it was Miami head coach Mario Cristobal who was celebrating after he landed 5-star offensive tackle Jackson Cantwell. It just means more, folks. ACC, baby. It just means more. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling down this thing, man. We can scroll this all day. This is what people are going to be doing.
I'll tell you what, man. Can we land the #1 recruit in the country every day? We got 9,000 on here almost.
Like and subscribe, man. I don't know if we'll land it every day, but we'll be on every day. Every day. There's Chris Tucker celebrating here. Yeah, this is if you're not part of CanesInsight.com, I know there's a lot of people that watch the podcast, listen to it on the way to work or at work or whatever it is. Sign up for CanesInsight.com. It's free. And we are the #1 Canes community on the planet. You see how active this is. And whether you're celebrating or complaining or just trying to dig for info, there is no better place. There we go. You got X-Pac doing the suck it. You got Yogi Bear out there. All the kind of gifs. I had not seen a booty shaking meme. So some class shown by Hurricane fans.
I don't know. You've been promising that. So people might be disappointed.
I know. It's gotten a lot of people fired, I think. There's a story on Jackson Cantwell. Canes hold off Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State. Ever heard of those guys?
I hadn't heard Ohio State in the mix until now.
Well, what's his name? When the principal said Georgia, people were freaking out. I know you threw a face there when you saw that one.
Yeah, I was messing around with that, but
there's Stringer Bell. Keep talking, baby. Oh, there's the Marlins kid, the loafers, man. Everybody loves the loafers.
Here's
the. He knew it was Miami on the plane ride back from. By the way, if you're looking at this picture, look at this. His dad. Look how strong this dude is. I saw this guy in person, man. He is stronger than any offensive lineman we have. He's an Olympic silver medalist shot putter, but he's wide. The kid is not wide at all. Like, he's not strong. I mean, he's ridiculously strong. He's not bulky at all. The kid, he looks like a basketball player. Obviously, he's one of the most powerful, strong kids in America. He's probably the strongest kid in America. 500-pound bench. What's his PR in the? Let me pull up his PR in the shot put just to give guys some perspective here. So his PR right now 73.
Oh, they got my boy Pee Wee Longway on the thread, man.
Who's that?
A rapper.
Is he good?
Yeah, but you probably wouldn't like his stuff very much.
There we go. No smoke. Miss you. Get back here. There it is. So. This thread is rolling. You got to sign up for CanesInsight.com. 7 million posts and counting. We're probably up 100,000 posts since this thing happened. But look, just some big picture stuff here. So in terms of #1 overall commits, you go back to Chantrell Henderson was #1 at one point, dropped, but he ultimately came to Miami. Arthur Brown, #1 according to some services, he dropped eventually, but was still a top 10 player. So Arthur Brown. Chantrell Henderson are names that come to mind. Francis Mauigoa is not #1, but top 10 tackle. Justin Scott, top 10. #1 overall, you'd say DJ Williams. I remember where I was. I was a freshman in high school in the school library, checking that one out at Belen Jesuit High School, the best academic institution in Florida. So I remember that. I'm turning 40 tomorrow. I was a freshman, so it's been a while since we got the #1 overall guy. Jesse Armstead, my favorite player as a youth, was the #1 player at Dallas Carter, signing with the Canes. So. Yeah, it's been a few, man, but this is a statement. And again, look at the calendar, guys. May 13th. So you are now about to witness a string of official visits, and following those official visits usually is commits. So commit season is June to July, right? That's when people commit. So you just got a commitment from the #1 player. So not only are you getting that done, which is huge, you're getting it done at the beginning of commitment season. You already got a few guys in the boat, but you got that done at the beginning of commitment season. The momentum continues to roll. So guys committed: Darion Coleman, Miami's quarterback of the future, super talented guy from Orlando. Jones, not the biggest guy in the world, but some of the best arm talent, who's been outstanding in every offseason camp. He's been the best player at every camp he's been at, and 7-on-7. I'm here. Kyle Wright. He was #1. He was pretty close to #1 player. I think he was #1 quarterback. I don't know if he's the #1 player that year, but he was pretty close. So we got, as far as the class, Darion Coleman, Javion Mallory, who tweeted at Cantwell earlier, the running back from West Boca, very good player. Would he be joined by Derek Cooper, by Jay Lamar from Moultrie, Georgia, same hometown as Nikar and Kamal Bonner, Miami's new linebacker from NC State? Watch that position. But Javion Mallory's committed. Who else we got committed? Ben Cogden, of course, Jackson Cantwell, Joel Irvin, JJ Sparks on the offensive line. Let me pull up the commitment list here because I'm losing track.
Miami's class now at number 8, by the way.
And climbing. So
And climbing.
Jordan Campbell, linebacker from Carroll City. Now he's at Northwestern, formerly at Carroll City. A really talented guy there. Camden Portis, son of Clinton Portis. Very talented nickel back. Jalen Waters, seatbelt, my favorite corner. Big dude out of Armwood, Tampa area. Jontavius Wyman, very athletic corner out of the Atlanta area. Super dynamic, kind of like Philip Buchanan type player. I mentioned Joel Irvin and JJ Sparks. So that's your class right now. But this momentum is going to continue to push forward and push forward. So here I'm hearing from my source here in Missouri. Let me see what he said here. I think he's known for the last week. Apparently the parents were very upset with these NIL leaks. And
I called it. I heard it when in his interview. I said it 20 minutes ago. You could tell, man, the way that he was very pointed in that answer. He was trying to send a message.
Shout out to Grandpa Jim, our boy. Good luck to you and Riley this season. But appreciate you always supporting, man. You're the man. So it's
let me see. Anthony says he has a comment for me to read. I'm trying to find out I'm trying to see which one it is.
Let's see. Someone asking, can Miami land Iheanacho? I think Iheanacho is
going to Oregon. He literally just got the commitment to Oregon. Anthony's asking about the number 1 quarterback committed to Tennessee. Can Miami flip? Quarterback's a different ball game, man. Unless you're recruiting those guys from early in the process or something happens late with coaching changes and stuff, I don't see Miami going after a different quarterback in this class than Coleman.
No, by the way, if I'm him, I'm going to Tennessee. You start. I mean, they just lost Nico. They don't have a quarterback, so that'd be my guy. That'd be my pick if I'm him. The good offense, but yeah, Darren Coleman's solid. Man, hair's looking ridiculous. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, man. I was sweating bullets. I walked like a mile in the heat just to get my mind right.
People aren't on here to watch your hair, man. It's because Miami got the number 1 recruit in the country.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
I would think so.
We're up to almost 9,000.
I would hope that's it. I hope it's not there. I
well,
hope
you know what, Pete? Speaking of hair, I saw a text from
you see it. You
see
it. Listen,
now I see why you cut off the show early.
All you have to do is watch the show earlier today and look now and see I'm cleaned up. And maybe that was the sign that I knew something. I had to get cleaned up for the occasion.
100%, man. Well, shout out to Oliver, Golden Touch, best barber in the business. He'll be cutting Jackson Cantwell's hair once he gets down here. I don't know if Cantwell's going to stick with the mullet look, or he's going to go with something a little more South Florida. We'll see what he does, but we know Oliver at Golden Touch is going to take care of him. That's the most plugged-in guy in Miami. I went to the baseball game, and he was like more popular than the players. Shout out to Oliver at Golden Touch, man. Cantwell will be there soon. Cantwell likes a fancy European kind of cut. He's the guy's coming down from Nixon, Missouri to Coral Gables. Man, it's going to be interesting. But really a smart kid. You heard him talk. I mean, the guy is super well spoken. The things he's saying are true. I mean, when you hear him, I haven't read the stories, but
I don't know, man. It sounds like he's been listening to the stuff you've been saying.
It's the truth. Like, we had the best offensive line of all those teams, and we had the highest pick next year. We had the first pick of the whole draft at a different position this year. We're going to have the highest projected pick as far as offensive line next year. No one at Oregon's projected that high. Maybe Isaiah World, but he's not as good as Mauanoa. Georgia has nobody like that. So best offensive line this year, best projected offensive line next year, best projected offensive lineman next year, and we had the number 1 overall pick. So, if you're an offensive lineman who wants to be the number 1 overall pick and play on a great offensive line, that's pretty good.
Look at this nugget from Jeff Starkey. He said he commits on Rusty Medeiros' birthday. Nicksa's 3 miles away from where Medeiros grew up.
Shout out to Rusty.
That's big time old man's knowledge right there. Love it.
Number 98, one of the best pass rushers ever at the University of Miami. Career cut short really by injury, but if you watch him in his prime, some of the games that he took over, he was absolutely the best. So yeah, shout out to Rusty Medeiros, one of the best players we've had.
Hold on, I love when all the staff members start to show their excitement
Let's
and
see,
whatnot.
Hey, can you pull up some? Why don't you pull up some tweets here, like just to kind of get a feel? Because I'm not been locked in here.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of doing the same thing.
Let me
see here.
Go look while I'm talking about this. So Pinellas Kane was talking about how Georgia's talking about NIL. It's true. SEC's been paying players for years, particularly Alabama and Georgia. And now there's more parity and everybody's complaining. I mean, how do they think they got the number one quarterback in the country? You think the number one quarterback in the country is going there because Georgia produces great quarterbacks? What great quarterback has Georgia produced since Matt Stafford?
Well, it's funny. I was reading the Georgia boards earlier, and when people were talking about Cantwell and complaining about NIL, someone brought up, well, you think that we didn't pay for Curtis? Exactly what you're saying. And there were people on the board claiming that Oregon had the bigger offer, but that he still chose Georgia because of the love of Georgia.
And look, I will say it is true that Georgia spends less on players than other relative because they have better brand. They've been winning more, so they don't have to spend as much. But they spend on coaches, they spend on facilities. I mean, you don't get to be where they are by not spending. No one's ever said Georgia didn't spend. If Georgia didn't spend, their fans would be mad, right?
So this was the first tweet that I saw when I opened up Twitter right now.
Let's see what we got here
from Coach Dan Hajar.
Jersey Dan with the Jersey icon. Go Canes.
Love it. Frank Tucker was tweeting some stuff too. So we had Frank Tucker, who's a recruiting staffer, actually went at Mike Farrell tweeted something saying money talks. And let me pull it up. Frank Tucker had a little clap back for him. Here we go. Let me pull it up here.
What's the crib got to say?
The crib media.
By the way, does this kid, I mean, like, you hear how much thought this guy puts into his decision. You think he just
listen? You look at what Frank Tucker says here. He says, and again, Frank Tucker is a recruiting staffer at Miami. Shout out to that whole staff, Mackenzie Rizzi, Tia Joseph, all of them. Frank said because this is Mike Farrell tweeted money talks, talking about obviously Jackson Cantwell, and then Frank Tucker says, what talks is the development of offensive line played by Alex Mirabal, Mario Cristobal. It speaks loudly.
Sure does. You heard him say that mattered to him, the development part of it. So, So here, okay, so let me read a quote here because now we're seeing, you're seeing a million things come out. So I want to just read something here. Let's see. 5-star. This is a quote from Cantwell. And here, I'll just read his quote. In fact, I could probably let me pull it up here. Let me pull up the tweet. Here we go. He said, I chose Miami because I felt it was the best situation for me to grow and develop, not only as an offensive lineman, but as a person. Coach Cristobal and Mirabal have recruited me harder than anyone in the country, and I believe in their development plan for me in the short and the long term. So that's part of it. And then, they recruit hard too. I mean, you want to go where you want. It's not just the money. It's the calls every single day. It's the relentless. I mean, Mario has no hobbies besides recruiting. Head coaches don't recruit as hard as Mario. They got other stuff going on. Mario devotes so much of his time to recruiting at the expense of a lot of stuff. I mean, this guy could be spending time with his family, having fun. He just lives, breathes.
Recruiting
Miami.
Is fun.
It is.
Recruiting is fun.
For him, it is. It is when you land the number one player in the country, so it'll be a fun plane ride back from these ACC meetings. Imagine being in the ACC and you're out here with getting the worst recruits in America, and then Mario's running around with the number one offensive lineman. You're like, man, these guys are just they're getting better and better. It's kind of like when Florida State got over the hump with EJ Manuel and they never, they dominated the ACC for a couple of years, or Clemson. Once you get over the hump, it's a big step. They haven't done it yet. Clemson took a while to get over the hump. FSU took a while to get over the hump. Then they won national championships. So that's where Miami is trying to get to. And when you're the number one player overall in the country, that's what it is.
D, you want to, again, just let the people know. We got 9,000 on here. If you're just seeing this because it popped up in your feed, because the algorithm hit you because you saw the number one recruit in the country, we go daily. So we have a show every day. You can find it here on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We go live every day on YouTube. So this is a special occasion for this commitment, but we're pretty much live every morning or by lunchtime. I would say it's never really a set time. So just hit that like, subscribe. You get, sign up for the notifications so you see when we're going to be going live. And yeah, man, this is it's an everyday thing. So
www.canesconnection.com/CIS. You cannot get any player like this without tremendous contribution from everyday fans like yourselves. Everybody that was a part of this, thank you. I'll talk to you on Tuesday when we do our private Zoom for Canes Connection members who use that CIS/CIS link to sign up. We will have a private Zoom. I'll tell you everything I can't tell you on here because there's Georgia fans creeping around, FSU, UF fans, but I will tell you everything I can possibly tell you on that link. Obviously, we know where the info is coming from. It's Canes Connection. Do the math. www.canesconnection.com/CIS. Sign up today. Be part of the solution. Really appreciate you guys. Question from Ryder Boy. Too early to predict. Do you think it's a day one starter at right tackle? I think what it's going to come down to is he has to be here for spring like Mauanoa was in order to follow that same path. Mauanoa is day one starter at right tackle. I think he's not going to be as advanced as Mauanoa, not because of him, just because Mauanoa is IMG going against guys like Ruben Bain, going across the country, playing the best players. He's not at that level of competition and just resources to develop. He has good coaching, but not that level of resources. So I think he'll probably be behind Mauanoa when he gets here, but he can catch up fast because he's so smart and such a hard worker and so talented. He has a chance if he does track in the spring to break every track record there is and just kind of put him out of reach as far as a thrower. I'm talking about national records. So the question is, do you want to kind of just chase these national records or set these national records and put them out of reach in track, or do you want to get to Miami early? That's the big question. I don't know that that's been answered yet, but that's to me, now that he's committed, the question is he going to come to Miami early, enroll early, and try to win that right tackle job?
Yep. It's pretty much what it'll come down to, because mentally and physically, I think he'll have it, but it still is going to be a learning curve.
Yeah, man, this is huge. This is just, again, I go back to the timing, May 13th. We got 9,000 people on. Going to be a lot of, if you're not part of CanesInsight.com, Canes Insight podcast, this is not the end of the recruiting process. It's the end of Jackson Cantwell's recruiting process, but it is the beginning of the recruiting process in general for most guys as far as visiting, officially committing. There's a commitment season coming up from now, basically until camp opens up in August. So we started the ball rolling here. Every day we'll have updates. We'll give you the absolute latest, most direct information for free, CanesInsight.com. I'll tell you, I got to change my line now. Let's see how many posts we have here. CanesInsight.com, 7.4 million post and counting. So apparently in the press conference, Jackson Cantwell said he'd be a December enrollee. So right there, boom. That ups his chance of being a pick pretty high. Or sorry, being a starter pretty high, because he's going to have a chance to get started early, right? He's proven everything. He's proven track. He'll go to the ACC and try to win that championship like Vince Wilfork did. Vince Wilfork was the best thrower we ever had. By the way, I think I can say this now. Vince Wilfork, and you talking McKinney. I mean, people were pushing for Jackson Cantwell to come to Miami. There was a full court press from the.
Usually that's the kiss of death.
Yeah, it felt that way when it happened.
Wait, hold on a second. Did Mario just break another recruiting rule?
What did he do?
Remember
which one?
Yes, man. When the alumni starts the public push, it's usually that you lost the kid. That's usually like I said, the kiss of death. I don't know if we've ever landed a kid after a push like that.
Yeah, and so let me see here. There's a bunch of recruiting rules, like you said. There's a big thread on Canes Insight of all the recruiting rules and Mario's rewritten as far as guys that Miami never got in the past that they're getting now. I don't think Miami is ever going into Missouri and getting offensive linemen that are number one in the country, but check that box. And again, this kid does not seem like a flake. Cormani McClain, you hit some red flags there as far as like kind of leaving his high school team and coming back, things that just got your eyebrow raised. And obviously we saw how that played out, going to Colorado, then leaving Colorado, going to Florida. Cantwell, I don't think is going to be flip-flopping and doing all that kind of stuff. I mean, his parents are Olympians. I mean, they take this whole thing pretty seriously. And again, everything I've heard academically is this guy's like top of the food chain. So when you start talking about, guys like that, like Cam Ward, where it's just like the character stuff. The reason Cam Ward's number 1 overall pick is because his character matches the film. And I think with Cantwell, I don't know. I know, what you guys know, but just knowing that he is a elite student and has put so much thought into this process and hearing what other people say about him, you feel good that he could be like a Cam Ward that just checks all those intangible boxes on top of the tangible boxes. Jeremiah Smith, who didn't go to Miami, the number 1 recruit we lost on, he's the same way. I had no doubt Jeremiah Smith was going to be a stud because the intangibles were just as good as the tangibles. So that's one of the reasons why Cantwell is such a big prospect is you feel very good about what's between the ears and what's around him as far as maximizing his talent. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith was able to do that. Cam Ward was able to do that. Mawanoa was able to do that. And now you might see that here with Jackson Cantwell, and you'll see it in a Miami uniform. Got anything, Pete? I feel great.
No.
1 hour and 5 minutes in. I need to catch my breath. I need to come back. I might just read all the posts and then come back and do another live stream just because I'm so fired up. But man, shout out to everybody that joined us again. Like and subscribe to this show. We're on every day with Ace today. Tomorrow, Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah.
So we'll confirm exactly the format there. Still working on that one, but we'll be on Wednesday, one way or the other, and we'll be having a lot of fun on that Wednesday show. Thursday, Friday, every commitment. We're going to be rocking and rolling. And then CanesInsight.com, 7.4 million posts and counting. Sign up today for free.
See you guys tomorrow. Go Canes.
Go Canes.